Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining in the two Gator Gang Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, and I'm joined with my co host, Lucas, the Gator Man. Daryl didn't make it tonight. We were going to have Moose on the show, but I don't think he was able to make it. Um, well, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the um, our YouTube page in the description below. Make sure you also click on that streamyard.com/Facebook and hit yes that you approve, so we can see your names and with your comments so we can interact with you. But this weekend was a hard weekend as a Gator fan.
Not
On,
only for the
on
active too.
a
Not
little
only
more aspects of just the game, both of the games that were played, but um, please give Keyontae Johnson, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. During the FSU game on Saturday, with 4 minutes into the game after an alley oop, a timeout was called, and Keyontae Johnson collapsed to the floor, was taken off on a stretcher to a hospital where he was in critical but stable condition. Um, and then things have kind of just gotten a little worse from there. His family flew
as,
in.
as of today, he's in Gainesville, but in a coma.
Yes, he is been placed in a medically induced coma. So please, Gator fans, and anybody else who may watch this, whether you're a Gator fan or any other fan, or even if you don't watch sports at all, keep Keontae Johnson in your thoughts and prayers.
This is
He's
bigger than
battling for his life. This
this
is
is
bigger
big.
than basketball. This is, a student who, loves to play the game of basketball, fighting for his life right now. So please,
And
please.
and I forgot to mention that he was supposed to be he was voted SEC Player of the Year too. So people were
Yes, he's been averaging 19.7 points per game. He's the team's leading scorer. He's a leader on the team. And
people
the
were making big things about
Florida
him.
went off to play that game, and they did lose to FSU. But obviously, bigger than the loss, who cares about the game itself? Obviously, it's a Florida State rivalry. Um, the FSU coach was asked what he wanted to do with the game, if he wanted to keep going or um, you know let the game go. He said whatever Florida wanted to do. Florida said they wanted to play the game. Um,
And it was
FSU
obvious.
said, "Are you sure?" And Florida wanted to proceed playing that game, so the game went on. As probably Keyontae Johnson would have wanted it to go, but the Gators were playing with a very heavy heart um, during that
And
game, and still are.
it was obvious it was obvious that Keontae affected what happened to Keontae affected the performance. If you listen to
Exactly, exactly. It affected the whole performance of the game, and at the end of it, both teams, they were both hurt. It's bigger than basketball, no matter if it's a rival school or not. I wouldn't want to see any Florida State player go down like that. It's just it's not something that you want to see from anybody. Um, but getting into Saturday night, things didn't get much better.
oh
Florida
god, don't
had
even get me
a
started. I might have to go on
heartbreaking,
a rant.
yes, Florida had a heartbreaking loss, 37-34, um,
Not to mention,
missing the game-winning field goal as time basically expires. But Florida had their chances to win that game from the beginning all the way until the end. But with critical mistakes, you shoot yourself in the foot. You have dumb actions that happen. You have some dumb play calling that happen. But all in all, a 3-5 team. Nobody expected them to come in
they
and
were like a
do what they did to Florida, especially on senior night. Um, it
they,
just looked, Kyle Pitts did not play. Sean Davis did not play. Jeremiah Moon did not play. So we were out a couple key players.
it was obvious to me that I honestly think Mullen was looking forward to next week.
I think they certainly did downplay this game, and didn't take LSU seriously. But LSU came into this game; they weren't looking to be competitive; they were looking to win. Florida should know what this rivalry means. In the past couple years,
I
from
mean,
the Hurricane,
they did stop him. Ever since the Hurricane Matthew postponement, this has become one of our biggest.
it's become our biggest West rival. It's always been a big rival, but it kind of intensifies after everything that's happened over recent years. So, Dan Mullen, and especially when they're national champs last year, even though they're not doing so good this year, and they beat you, what was it, 42-21 or something like that in their place last year.
And their fans were dropping the F bomb and saying "fuck you" for it.
Yeah, they were saying some not so nice things about Florida. So we really needed to come out in this game and be aggressive and come out with a plan to win this game. And I know we did, but when you have the turnovers that we did, you can't have those things. Lucas, I'm gonna let you go on your rant. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball.
The offense wasn't as crisp as I would like, but with start in the first quarter, you go get down there on the fourth down, you go and you don't kick the field goal. You should have got 3 points. If we would have got the 3 points, we probably would have won the game anyway.
Yeah,
And we
exactly.
probably
Yeah,
would have
that game,
not
that
needed
very
the
first
game.
drive, when we go down the field and we go for it on fourth down. I don't understand the play call there. It's early in the game. Kick the points, build some momentum. Take the points. I mean, we haven't been as crisp as we've been in the last couple games, especially early in the game. So Dan Mullen and the coaching staff needed to take into consideration of getting points on the board, flipping the field, and making LSU have to work for it. Yeah. When you look at the flip side of that, we didn't get it, but they had to try to travel the field and weren't able to do it neither. But you take away an opportunity to get points on the board.
If that happens, we probably don't talk about a damn shoe being throw.
We probably don't talk about that, but everybody's got their take on that, and we will get to that. Trust me, that will be a topic of this podcast, for sure. But later in the game, Kyle Trask has an interception, has a fumble, has another interception, and then the first interception is a pick six, which you just give them points, you give LSU points. So now not only did you take away our 3 points that we didn't get on the first drive, you give them 7 points. You negate that touchdown or field goal, so it could be 10. It could be 10-0 at that point. It could be 10-3, 7-3 at that point. It can be something better than what it was, and we just kind of dug ourselves in a hole early, and in the first half, and just kind of guess Kyle Trask had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns.
And he broke the record, but nobody cares about that because we lost the game.
And he did, and he broke the record. Kyle Trask, the trash tracker, 40 touchdowns in a regular season. Congrats to him. But when you look at this record, it's not going to have that stat next to it saying that we lost this game. It's just going to say 40 for a whole singular season. So we got to look at the bright side. Kyle Trask has had a phenomenal year. I wish it wasn't negated by the way the performance, was against LSU.
Do you think he still wins Heisman after Saturday night?
I'm gonna say yes. His performance with 2 interceptions. It's his worst game of the season, which he still had. He accounted for 4 touchdowns in that game. So I think his shots are still up there. There are more aspects of the game.
Let me say this: if we win, and he puts up like 300 plus yards or 200 plus yards, we'll definitely win it. Even though
I say at this point, how last week we were talking about Kyle Trask winning the Heisman and losing the Alabama game. Now I think it's a definite for sure. They've got to win the game and Kyle Trask is going to have a better day than Mac Jones. It is very unfortunate that the ending of that game was the way it was.
But I also want to bring something up. You guys remember how many losses Steve had in 11 games, and when he won it, right?
Yes. Tim Tebow had 3 losses and 1 Heisman. Went off to play in the Outback. What was it? The Outback Bowl against Michigan.
Capital One Bowl.
Yes, and ended up losing that. So, the Heisman Trophy is still in play for Kyle Trask. I just don't think the gap is as far as it was.
I agree with you.
So, Kyle Pitts did not play. He did not practice all week. Dan Mullen said that he didn't practice. He wasn't 100%, so he wasn't going to play, even though he really wanted to play. I don't know what that kind of message you're sending. If he feels he's ready and he wants to play and he can get out there.
If Kyle Pitts is in there, let me ask you this: if Kyle Pitts is in there, do we win?
I think we have a better offensive game, and I think even if you have Kyle Pitts in the game, this is what you have. You have a player who can be, even if you don't get him the ball, he's a great decoy because he's a threat. He's so big, he's so fast that he's going to be a threat. You got to either double team him or keep him in check. So that kind of opens it up for a running back coming out the backfield or another wide receiver. So having him on the field is a benefit in more than one way. So I think the outcome of the game is definitely a lot better with Pitts in the game. So that's my take on that.
That's what I'm thinking. I honestly think if he's in there, we win.
I certainly agree. So, but when you look at the things that we had go wrong in that game. 3 turnovers.
Turnovers in the damn.
Yeah, and then the 3 turnovers, the not getting it on the first drive. That's 4 possessions that you're throwing away. You're not getting no points on 4 possessions of those, and yet you're still in this game. 609 total yards, so there are 400.
That's the crazy thing. 609 total yards, and we still lost the game.
I was saying the same exact thing. 609 total yards. They had 418. Passing was 474 to 239. They had the edge in rushing at 179 to 135.
Against the freshman quarterback making his first start, by the way.
Yeah, that's Brad Johnson's son. Those of you who don't know who Brad Johnson was, he was on the Super Bowl Tampa Bay Bucks. And that's his son playing for LSU as a freshman. And credit where credit's due, he had a pretty good day for his first game. That was his first game starting, right?
Yep.
So yeah, shout out to him. Come in the swamp. No turnovers. Played a pretty good game.
Same thing as Harrison Bailey last week.
Exactly. So I just we'll kind of flip it to the defensive side of the ball. The defense was giving up.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started with the defense, and not to mention the fog.
The fog played a role in the game. The defense played a role in the game. We've been saying this for podcasts to come and go. Marco Wilson is the reason why we lost this game. And the reason why we lost the game.
Let me rephrase that. If Marco Wilson wasn't a starter or didn't play, we'd probably be undefeated right now, is what you're saying.
Basically. But I'm not. But hold up. I'm not here to play coach and act like I know what I'm saying. I get people make mistakes. I get, things happen. I get they're only college students. But let's get into the cleat incident.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started. You want to go first on that, or do you want me to?
I'll let you go. I'll let you take this one.
It was 3rd down. First of all, it was 3rd down, and we got the stop, and then he decides to throw a damn shoot 20 yards down the field and draw a 15-yard penalty. and then sets them up for the game-winning drive. Ooh,
Exactly. Game's tied up at 34, and Gators need to get a critical third down. We need to get this so we can get the ball back and have more time to go down the field and do what we
and
do. And either
let me add one more thing. If he doesn't do that, we probably go down and win the game anyway. So
right. So we at that point they're having to punt the ball. We would get it back. We're able to do something, whether it's kick the field goal to win the game or get a touchdown and win the game. Either way, that was Florida's moment right there. And I get it. There are more plays than that happen after that. But when you pick up a cleat and you chuck it 20 yards down the field, like you trying to pass that glass slipper to Cinderella, you can't be doing that. You made a critical third down stop, get off the field in a close game. I don't care if the game is 63-3. You do not pick up that damn cleat and throw it. You just don't do it. That's not something that you do. You're a senior. You're a leader of the team.
He's a redshirt junior because he redshirted after.
You're right. You're right. He is a junior. I forgot the redshirt year, but still, you're a leader of this team on the defensive end, and you've got to know better than that. I get it.
Well, let me ask you this: since you were at the game, what was it like during when he threw the damn shoe in the crowd?
When they're announcing, like, the fog was pretty bad, and like seeing it live from my view, you couldn't see him throw the shoe, but you look up on the the replay board, and they replayed it a couple times, and you see him pick up the shoe and throw the shoe. First they called it on, I believe it was number 8, and then they flipped it to, because it was on, number 11 on Diabate. Wasn't him. It was Marco. Picked up the shoe, threw it, and then the crowd booed. My side of the stadium where I was at, the crowd booed. It was a pretty loud moment in the swamp.
Was it louder than the cock block of 06 when they booed?
Oh, definitely not. With the attendance, let me tell y'all how the game was itself. Before the game, obviously there's no Gator walk. There's none of that. The fans just get in the stands and you wait on the game. The game begins, or then how they have their Mr. 2-bits that they always do. They didn't have that live. Lauren Rutledge was on the big screen in her home with her baby in her hand doing the Mr. 2-bits tradition. Why they couldn't do it at the field, on the field, there's plenty of social distancing. It would give the fans something to see because there wasn't a lot going on before the game. But even in the halftime, there's nothing. There's nothing to entertain the fans during halftime. No band playing. You're just waiting the time until the second half starts. So it's your time to do whatever you want. Go get food. Go to the bathroom. Do whatever. But there was. It wasn't your normal game. I can tell you that the crowd at hearing. I think the attendance was 13,000. It wasn't too loud. We had our moments where we were pretty loud. Right there when we had the lead at like 31.
And I have another follow-up question. Can you imagine how 90,000 people would have reacted when Michael threw the shoe?
Exactly. Yeah, 90,000 people would have been a whole lot louder than what it was. So that was something that was eye-popping to me of Marco being with that play. But
I get it. Some players have brain cramps, but you got to know not to freaking do that, especially on third down when you're about to get the ball back.
If anybody's seen the press conference of Dan Mullen, he kind of downplayed it like he didn't see it. But they played it, like 3 times on the big screen. So he had to have seen it, and he kept Marco Wilson in the game. And my point
Okay.
of that is, what kind
Another
of
thing.
hold on, Lucas. What
Yeah.
kind of message are you sending to the younger players of that team of Chester Hillsborough and Jaden Hill of how you can make a mistake like that and how you can be so undisciplined and still get to play on the field?
That was my point. Did you watch Gators Breakdown? Because David said the exact same thing. I don't know if you watched the.
I haven't watched the Gators breakdown yet, um, but I definitely will. But I did watch Dan Mullen's press conference, and he was aggravated during the press conference. You know, he was answering some of the questions, probably in not so good of ways that he should have. But he was, you know, he was ticked off. But
Because David Water said the exact same thing. What kind of message does that send to any of the lower classmen that you can, pardon my French, but you can fuck up?
yeah, I just don't understand how you keep him in the game like that. But it is what it is. We
And
can't go back. All we can do is move on.
I'm
Um,
sorry for dropping the F bomb on the podcast, but there was no
uh,
other word choice
we
that
will. I do want to bring up this because Seatric Faison is a former player, and I do. Let me see if I can bring this up. You know, he had said, "I get Marco made a huge mistake tonight, but we as humans got to be very careful of criticizing people, but most importantly, the kids and the young adults, because of the backlash one gets." Can mess up one's mental and take someone into a deep depression and cause them to think in a very negative way. The pressure of everyday life is hard enough already, but since COVID came along, it's been even harder for when it comes to our young adults. I'm a Gator, always will be, but I realize it's just a game, and the young man made a mistake. It is what it is. Please, let's start thinking about the mental health of people before we speak. And you know, to me, that speaks volumes of what he's saying, because that gave me a different aspect of looking at it. And I reached out to C4 to see if I can post this, and he said I could. So I do want to let people know that um, Marco Wilson he's only a kid. He's only in college. He got hyped up. He was in the moment. I get it. He shouldn't have done it, but he's going to learn from that, and he's going to be better from it. And that's all we can do as you know, individuals is learn from our mistakes. That's all
Did
we
you
can
see?
do.
Did you see what Tommy posted? He's like, if we lose, we earned it, and if we win, we earn it.
Yeah, Tommy's right. We can't have with the shooting ourselves in the foot with the two interceptions and the fumble and the turnover on downs. That's 28 points you're leaving off the field.
And if we
So at
don't,
that point, the game
if
is
we
not as
don't,
close as
if we
what
don't,
it seems.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but if we don't do that, we win this game by 3 touchdowns easily.
Easily, you know, at best, because we had a really good stretch there where the defense was stepping up, making plays, getting off the field, doing what they needed to do. But Dan Mullen said in the press conference that this game was on the offense, and
He's right.
I'm gonna say that it's on everybody. It's on everybody
We
because
win as a team, we lose as a team.
we win as a team, we lose as a team, but the offense struggled, the defense struggled. You know, yeah, they had their moments, but they were only moments. And Dan Mullen and the coaching staff, we knew there were problems. We were all aware that the Florida Gators had problems, and we knew that they would you know, show their ugly head sooner or later. But it happened here, and it's a loss. And but maybe this loss will put them into reality and give them the check that they needed to make the changes that need to be made to where we can become the next level, to where we can get up there with the Alabama level.
But
Because
some
right
people
now
are like,
we're not there.
some people are like, Mullen needs to be fired. I'm like, he's 23. He's like 26 and 29 and 7 through 36 games. He doesn't need to be fired over one game.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to bring up too. A lot of people want to talk about Dan Mullen getting fired. Hold it. Stop it there. There's no way that Dan Mullen is going anywhere or that he needs to go anywhere. He's 29-7 in 3 years, and we still have a shot to win 10 games this year.
Even if
And
we SEC championship game, we can still win 10 games.
exactly, we can still have a 10-win season in a year of 2020 that's been unlike no other, playing all SEC competition.
If you
We,
would have told me
you
we'd
know,
be 29,
when I looked at the schedule, and I didn't think we were going to go undefeated. Everybody can go back and look at our podcast back in August, and when we were having them, we circled the Texas A&M game, and before the season started, we circled the LSU game, and those are the two teams that beat us. We should have won both of those games, but those were the two games that I circled on my calendar.
by the way, you got the losses right.
Yeah, and we kind of looked at the schedule and kind of had a reality check of, okay, we're going to A&M. LSU was defending champs. You're expecting them to come into this year as good or better than they were last year. Yes, they lost Joe Burrow. I get that.
Obviously, that wasn't the case, but that doesn't mean they don't have talent.
Right, but they still have talent, and that gives them motivation. That gives them a push that they just won the championship.
I don't mean to cut you off, but look at the recruiting rankings. They're out recruiting us, but
exactly. So there's two games that I was really looking at, and those are the two games that we lost. We should have won them both. We could be undefeated right now, like a lot of everybody says. But as a Gator fan, as a true Gator fan, you win some, you lose some. You want to win them all, but it just don't happen. But you learn and grow and just be better than what you were before.
If you would have told me we'd be 29-7 after 3 years, after the mess Jim McElwain pulled with the death threats, the Shark Humper,
you had Muschamp, and who went 4-7 in one season. Muschamp had 7 losses, and in 3 years, Dan Mullen has 7 losses. So I'm gonna say we're in better hands right now. Do what?
He's got to be doing something right.
Yeah, he's got to be doing something right. 3 years, 7 losses. Muschamp in one of his seasons, 7 losses. McElwain, another bad one. So we've come a long way. Let's not forget where we were.
We're getting close, but we're not there yet.
Because let's just say, look at the coaches that were out and about when we were hiring Dan Mullen.
And
what were their
fired after a win?
So what are those coaches like Chip Kelly that we were talking about? And the other dude that we were talking about.
What
are they doing now? Oh, and Scott Frost went to Nebraska. What are they doing? They're not doing nothing for their programs. So in the circumstances of the coach we got, Dan Mullen has the highest winning record of coaches that have started at the same time as him.
I know. Can I add something? And we got an all football complex that's coming at the end of the year or next year.
Yeah. So and we got a tougher schedule coming up. Everybody's want afford to have a tougher schedule. We got a tougher schedule coming up. In seasons to come. So this is what we want. This is what we play for. To be the best, you gotta play mistake free. And we didn't play mistake free.
If we lose the close game, I'll be happy with Bama. But if we got blown out,
yeah, I just want to keep this game close. We're a 17-point underdog.
Can I give the stat? Can I give the stat that I?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
In 15, we lost 27-19. In 16, we lost 54-16. I think it's going to be way closer.
So yeah, Lucas just mentioned the SEC championship game from the scores of 2015 and 2016 under Jim McElwain. when we played Alabama in the SEC. We got blown out both times, and this year I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Uh, do I think Florida's capable of winning this game? Absolutely. Can we win this game? Absolutely. Do we have to play our best game? Absolutely. We can't, turnovers will kill you.
We can't have a repeat of Saturday if we want to win the game. Basically, is what
Basically, what I'm saying, you cannot. You got to play, fundamentals. Know your part. Know your role. No missing assignments. No interceptions. No turnovers, and no throwing cleats. Those are keys to win you a game.
And no dumbass throw cleats.
Yeah, let's not have the throwing the cleats. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot with that kind of penalty. You don't do yourself any favors. What I didn't like was that he picked up the shoe and threw it. He flexes like he did something good for the team. Thank you, Marco. I don't mean to brag on him, but you got to be held accountable. And Dan Mullen needs to look at that and go, you know what?
I'll be pissed if he starts the SEC championship game, and here's why. What kind of message does that send to the other players that works their ass off in practice and doesn't do anything stupid?
Yep. You got to give them a shot. You got to give them a shot. Gators are they're better. We're back. I know it don't seem that way after looking at this loss, but
you want to do our predictions tonight, or should we save it for Friday?
We're gonna wait till Friday night, and we'll do that. But before we get off here, I just want to say that prayers of Keyontae Johnson and his family. Y'all, please keep him in your prayers. He's in a medically coma right now.
And if you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator bait first, Keon.
And you know how we say before we get off here, if you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator bait.